Hey, my friend, have you ever wondered what are examples of spiritual warfare in actual day-to-day mom life? Because you're trying your best to run a peaceful home. But suddenly, your kids are melting down, your schedule is a chaotic mess, and everyone seems to be walking on eggshells. This is difficult because when life gets heavy, it's hard to tell if you're just dealing with a bad attitude or a literal strategic ambush from the enemy. Well, stay tuned, you are in the right place. And by the end of today's episode, you'll know how to spot the hidden footprints of the adversary in your household, how to break the cycle of family division, and 5 simple real-world strategies you can use to reclaim your peace today. Stay tuned.
Ordinary women, extraordinary faith. When God calls, we say yes.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Arise Women of God podcast. I'm your host, Tamara K. Anderson, and today I'm thrilled to be back with my wonderful guest, LeMira Wheelwright. She's a librarian, a ministry leader, and a mother navigating the front lines with a preteen, a teen, and a college student. And today we are mapping out 3 huge tactical truths as we tackle what are the examples of spiritual warfare. First is the blueprint of household division, looking at how the enemy uses everyday stress and comparison to drive a wedge between family members. Second, the 5 hidden battlefields, where we share real-life examples of spiritual attacks in our schedules, in our homes, in our health, and in our schools, as well as their solutions. And finally, the safe space solution, how to sacrifice the noise, put down the screens, and draw your family back into the heart of God. Before we dive into LeMira's powerful examples, we have to understand that family division is one of the oldest plays in the adversary's playbook. If you look at Genesis chapter 37, we see a textbook example of spiritual warfare in a family. Remember Joseph of Egypt? Yeah, his family, which was completely fractured by favoritism that bred envy, bitter communication among his brothers that got so toxic that Joseph's own flesh and blood literally turned on him, plotting his destruction and selling him into slavery. The enemy loves to target the home because if he can divide a family, he can weaken the structural shield over each of us. But what does this war look like on an ordinary Friday in 2026? Listen as LeMira shares her 2 first major examples: school overwhelm and the addiction to being busy, along with her brilliant strategies to counter them.
So some of the things that I've seen, especially recently with like all the stuff going on, one is overwhelmed in school, whether it's the end of the year testing or just grades, trying to keep up, but falling behind, avoiding the work. And how that looks is a lot of times you'll see isolation, you'll see them getting on screens all the time. They're really combative, dragging their feet. And usually there can be other things going on there. Like recently we discovered, hey, we have a couple kids that need some medication help. And we're like, oh, that's like night and day difference. But it can turn into spiritual warfare if it's not taken care of or treated. But overwhelm. And we all feel that even in work, I was getting so overwhelmed. And then I'm avoiding doing the things that would take me 5 minutes, but instead it takes me 3 weeks, right? So that's an example. Another one is being addicted to stress and busy. Sometimes we think that that's a badge, like, oh, my kid's got to be involved in music and sports and this activity and this. And we go, and we don't know how to stop. And then when we do stop, we either crash or something. But it's like we always have to fill our docket with things. We have to fill our schedule instead of connecting with each other and taking that time. And the adversary will do that because it keeps us from connecting as a family and connecting to God. We'll just be so busy, so tired. And then we can't sleep, right?
How do you invite God in to help you counter those situations when they arise?
If it's with my kids, the first thing I'm doing is I'm on my knees. And sometimes, this sounds crazy, but sometimes it's on social media that I'm praying to know what to do. And suddenly an account pops up about, it might be a counselor or a therapist for teens and for parents on how to handle situations. The other thing I do is when it comes to school, I realize, like with my kids, they need some strategies. And instead of me saying, well, you got to go get that done, I say, hey, let's work together and get this done. And I make time for them. And I might say no to something else for me that time. I might do a little sacrificing. When it comes to being addicted to stress, this was a personal thing. I literally had to say no to things. It's time to say no to book club. I'm a librarian. I love to read books, but I had to say no to book club because it was just piling on my plate, right? I needed to say no to my phone in my room. I'm going to put my phone in the kitchen so that at night I can connect with God before bed instead of falling asleep to playing that silly game or reading something. But instead, I'm going to pray and I'm going to journal before.
I love how practical LeMira is. Sometimes spiritual warfare looks like putting your phone in the kitchen at night so you can actually talk to God before your head hits the pillow. But the enemy doesn't stop with our schedules. He aggressively targets our physical bodies and our social circles. He loves to use physical exhaustion, shaming, identity blurring thoughts in our minds, or comparison at school to breed bullying and panic attacks in our own kids. It's exactly what the Apostle Peter warned us about when he said we are living in a fallen world and shouldn't be blindsided by the friction. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12, he says, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened to you." It isn't strange, my friend. Now LeMira is going to share how she handles the warfare of negative body image, school drama, and community gossip.
And that leads to my third one, which is health. Like an example of that spiritual warfare is we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not getting sleep. We're not exercising. And then that turns into, I'm going to eat my emotions because I'm so stressed. I'm raiding the pantry that might only have fruit snacks in it, but I'm raiding the pantry. I'm eating those emotions. And then I'm like telling myself, man, I've got fat legs, or I'm ugly, or I'm hearing this from my kids too. Oh, I'm just not skinny enough, or I need to go to the gym. I need to do this. And that's spiritual warfare, attack on ourselves. And then when it comes to the eating, maybe we need to change what's in my pantry. Or maybe I need to take a walk and ask my kids or my husband, hey, let's go take a walk after school. Let's walk home. Let's do a walk and talk. Those are some of our favorites. My husband and I as a walk and talk. Another one I see is the social interactions that we tend at home. Suddenly they are criticizing everybody around them and they're calling people names or saying something. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I turn around and find out that there's some bullying going on at school, right? Or there is some girlfriend drama going on with girls and friends and going, oh, wait a minute. So we need to talk that out. And so what does that look like for my family? It's panic attacks and kids literally throwing up at school. They're not sick, but their body is sick, trying to keep them away from it. And when it comes to social interactions with my kids, it's really helping them find strategies. Going to the school with them, talking to a counselor, talking to their teacher, going to bat with them, and praying together with them to love their enemies, praying for those people that are hurting them. And that's hard because no kid wants to pray for their enemy. And so that's another example. And then the last one I see happens a lot in my extended family, or even not even just in my family, but in a community or in a congregation. You see people who are upset or hurt by the actions of somebody else. And so there's a lot of gossiping going on. Or there is a lot of victimization that's happening about, well, nobody ever cares about my opinion. Or they're saying all of this stuff about me. Or it's really their grief is turning to gossiping and hurting others. And then when it comes to gossiping, this is big, I think, because sometimes we think that gossiping is listening or venting or helping. But when gossiping becomes gossiping is when somebody comes to us and they're venting, and then we turn around to somebody else and tell them, can you believe that they just told me all of this is happening? Did you know this was happening in their life? But instead, I listen and I say, wow, that's a lot. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. And guess what? It stops with me. Or I ask them, hey, did you know if you talk to this person, they might be able to help you with that? But I'm not taking it on and I'm not sharing that.
Wow, what a powerful, authoritative stance for a mother. When you know what spiritual warfare looks like, you can finally stop fighting your family and start fighting for them. If you are ready to identify the enemy's footprints in your own household and want a step-by-step guide to help build an impenetrable shield over your children, we want to give you our free A Mother's Spiritual Defense Guide, 6 empowering steps to fortify home and family, and it's free at the link below. When you open your guide, turn straight to step number 3, Mastering Discernment, where we map out the exact questions you can ask the moment the atmosphere shifts in a room, along with a checklist of the subtle indicators of darkness, like sudden heaviness, avoidant behavior, and division, so you can confidently catch the enemy's tools before they ever take root in your home. You, my friend, are a warrior of light, and you have heaven-backed power to protect your camp. May you stand by Jesus as he stands by you. And until next time, may you arise, do it God's way, God's strong.
If today's episode helped you feel a little closer to God, please like and subscribe. It helps us grow and ensures Heaven's whispers stay at the top of your feed whenever you need them most.